Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Flint. Remind those of you that we are streaming this service, so appreciate if you would turn the sound off on your phones, but go to YouTube and find this presentation and say you like it. We're told that that's a way to expand our reach and our appreciation online. So, I'd like to share with you a little bit about Unitarianism and Unitarian Universalism. We seek inspiration and meaning from a great many faith traditions and philosophies. We support each other's lifelong spiritual journey while also encouraging work for justice and peace. Our lives are based in part on the assumption that every being has inherent worth and dignity. Most importantly, we are people of free minds and loving hearts. We invite you to come and participate with us in a life lived in accordance with these liberal religious beliefs. I hope if you are new to us that you will take a few minutes and fill out this colorful card. We promise not to harass you, but we will send you our email update on a weekly basis. After our service today, I can promise you there's wonderful snacks and food in the coffee hour downstairs because our own Ruth Straw has been at work creating a wonderful food as usual. I got a bite of a couple of them last night. And if some of you have been coming for a while and would like to know more about our faith, our ministers will be back in the pulpit in the 1st of August, and you can reach out to them via the office for a conversation to learn more about what it is to be a UU. We hope you'll consider a personal conversation with them. But I also invite you to talk to any of us old-timers that are here and ask us and share with us, I should say, our journey, how we got here, and why you are here. So please, please feel welcome to the Flint congregation. We have a few announcements today. If you look at the back of your order of service, we have the most important ones. Well, we've got a new tradition starting in the fall called Sunday Night Open Mic, and it's going to be from 5 to 7, the end of September. If you're a singer, a poet, a performer, we're looking for you. So keep that in mind and talk to the office. I'm not sure who's in charge of coordinating that program. Is there a hand there? Terry Cross is the person. She does things in a great way. Okay. Next Sunday, our own Bonnie Pobosic will do a lay service. Then let your light shine. I'm sure there's going to be some beautiful music during that service. So please do. A couple of other things. Last Sunday was the second Sunday, and as you know, we have a second Sunday donation program here at church. And the first month of our fiscal year, July, that has always been the Michigan UU Social Justice Network. And I remind you, if you're interested in it, go check it out. We accept donations to go to Michigan through the end of the month. And there's separate baskets on our table, usually for second Sunday, and a donation. The other important thing is that every year we vote. This is a democratic institution. We try to be anyways. We have attached to your email update is an announcement and a link that take you to SurveyMonkey, where we ask you to choose the 9 nonprofit groups you would like to see on our donation list for our second Sunday program for the rest of the year. So we need that in by midnight tonight so I can count those votes and tally everything by tomorrow. So you'll see the announcements in next week's email update. And now I'd like to invite our guest minister, Leonetta, to come up and light the chalice, please. For every time we make a mistake, and we decide to start again, we light this chalice. For every time we're lonely and we let someone be our friend, we light this chalice. And for every time we are disappointed and we still choose to hope, we light this chalice. By Lindsay Bates. And now, if you'll join me in reciting our covenant, recognizing the richness of diversity, the beauty and wonder of shared worship, and the transforming power of love and service, we gather as a sacred, intentional community to freely seek knowledge and truth, to celebrate the fullness of life, and by our actions to increase goodness and justice. Amen.
Where in the deep night sky the stars lie in its embrace, the courtyard still in its sleep, and peace comes over your face. Come to me, it sings. Hear the pulse of the land, the ocean's rhythms pull, to hold your heart in its hand. And when the wind draws strong across the cypress trees, the night birds cease their songs, so gathers memories. Last night you spoke of a dream where forests stretched to the east, and each bird sang its song. A unicorn joined in a feast, and in the corner stood a pomegranate tree with wild flowers there no mortal eye could see. Yet still some mystery befalls, sure as the cock crows at morn. The world in its stillness keeps the secret of babes to be born. Come to me, it sings. Hear the pulse of the land. The ocean's rhythms pull, to hold your heart in its hand. I heard an old voice say, don't go far from the land. The seasons have their way, no mortal can understand. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do.
Our opening words today are by Roberto Juarez, The bell is full of wind, though it does not ring. The bird is full of flight, though it is still. The sky is full of clouds, though it is alone. The word is full of voice, though no one speaks it. Everything is full of fleeing, though there are no roads. Everything is fleeing toward its presence.
So as we sing our opening hymn, the words are going to be on the screen, and we are going to ask us if you are willing and able to stand, but not only stand, you're going to get some hand movements so we can wake you up. So this is going to be fire, and this is going to be water, and this is going to be mountain, and this is going to be river, and this is going to be sunlight, and this is going to be turn the world around. So and spirit. And so as some of you that know French will get bon chance. The rest of you, good luck. And here we go. Thanks, Michael and Harry Belafonte.
We come from the fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. Let's try that again because our timing is off.
How could that be? We were all together.
I'll try and keep up. Well, we can take this a little bit more joyfully.
Not so fast.
We come from the fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living in the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. Take me a while to get around. Water make the river, river wash the mountain. Fire make the sunlight, turn the world around. We are of the Spirit, truly of the Spirit. Only can the Spirit turn the world around.
As we move into a time of quieter space, Mark Nepo shares these words with us about what sustains. The more I am hallowed by the fire, the more my ribs spread like the tree of life. The more I am washed by the tears of others, the more my heart rounds like an ocean shell. The more stories I tell of how one picks up another, the more my hands open like scoops of grain. To be what others drink, to be what others stand on, to reach what they love. We should be so lucky to be worn by this. Each of you lives a private life that you share pieces of in this congregation, to weave a fabric of love and support and sustainability as we move through this life together. Each of you carries challenges on your hearts and your shoulders, your finances, and sometimes your energy. Each of us returns to this space of community to create energy so that we can move forward, to maintain a healthy balance for ourselves and also to be in service of others. In this time of meditation, we have joys and sorrows and lighting the candles.
All are invited to light candles who are doing the deck. I'm doing this for my brand new little great-grandson that was born yesterday. Oh my God. And I'm now a great-grandma. You've always been great. Doing something different today, and I'm reading from our book of Joys and Concerns. For today, I'm grateful for great friends, wonderful Michigan summer days, and a life full of both. And remembering our daughter, Kara Rockman, who died 5/26 of this year, John and Raina.
Oh, come by the hills to the land where fancy is free. Stand where the peaks meet the skies and the lochs meet the seas, where the rivers run clear and bracken is gold in the sun. Ah, the cares of tomorrow can wait till this day is done. Oh, come by the hills to the land where life is a song. Stand where the birds fill the air with their joy all day long, where the trees sway in time and even the wind seems in tune. Ah, the cares of tomorrow can wait till this day is done. Oh, come by the hills to the land where legends remain. The stories of old fill our hearts and may yet come again. Where the past has been lost, the future is still to be won. Ah, the cares of tomorrow can wait till this day is done. Ah, the cares of tomorrow can wait till this day is done.
The author chose to be anonymous through her last name, her first name, Meg, the Kaleidoscope. At night, when the sea is still, you can't tell sky from water, and everything is convoluted mirrors spiraling away from darkness, an abyss of serpentine stars, warping the night sky into a kaleidoscope of constellations. The sky is full of stars, and I get the euphoric sensation that I am floating in space as well, suspended in stellar time, with nothing but oblivion and pinpricks of light around me. Somehow, that brings me comfort. It is reassuring to pretend as though I too am significant in this world. And Michael's going to take us back in time with Joni Mitchell to the circle game, and we get to sing the chorus along with him. How many of you saw Joni Mitchell this year? A couple of times when she was doing special concerts. It's amazing.
Yesterday a child came out to wander, caught a dragonfly inside a jar. Fearful when the sky is full of thunder, and tearful at the falling of a star. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on a carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. Then the child moved 10 times round the seasons, skated over 10 clear frozen streams. Words like "when you're older" must appease him, and promises of someday make her dreams. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on a carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came and go round and round and round in the circle game. 16 springs and 16 summers gone now. Cartwheels turn to car wheels through the town. And they tell him, take your time, it won't be long now, till you drag your feet to slow the circle down. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on a carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came and go round and round and round in the circle game. So the years spin by and now that child is 20. Though her dreams have lost some grandeur coming true, there'll be new dreams, maybe better dreams and plenty before that last revolving year is through. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on a carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came and go round and round and round in the circle game.
You know you found your peeps when you don't even need the words. And you were all there. One of my favorite toys when I was growing up, back in the 60s, was a do-it-yourself type of kaleidoscope. Some of you might have remembered those. It was a long red tube and it had a plastic end you could take off. And you could place whatever tiny objects that were relatively flat in the plastic end and then secure the plastic back onto the tube and turn it around and around. And you would see sequins and bobby pins, remember those? And pieces of thread and bits of colored paper turn round and round and round when you lined your eye up into the peephole. This kaleidoscope changed the perspective of things and the prisms from jagged edges and shapes to round and kept me occupied for quite a while as my Capricorn mother would finally get some peace from my incessant talking that I turned into a vocation. 35 years ago, when I created my packet to apply for full-time ministry to Unitarian Universalist congregations, I called my packet a kaleidoscope of ministry. The point being that after you put all the components of ministry into a clear perspective with many essays, there will always be changes as the community brings in its energy and ideas. Kaleidoscope refers to just that, a mixture of different or changing things, especially images, colors, or shapes. Today, we're going to look at the spiritual approach to mindfulness and how it can take on a kaleidoscope process, changing those images and shapes. Mary Engelbright, remember her too? Probably stated this approach most clearly. She used to have a box and it would say, life is what you put into it. And the box was labeled life, so what you put into it. So what do you choose to put into your kaleidoscope of mindfulness? What do you want to see repeated, refracted, reflected into your daily living? What beliefs, practices, rituals are so meaningful for you that you would put them into your own personal kaleidoscope? Some of us here might start thinking of literary works or spiritual codes, the codes that you live by. For example, some of you want to include the 7 UU principles and know that the first principle is the most important one. We affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of each person. Wasn't it poignant last night about 2:30 a.m. that many of us got an alert on our cell phone, an Amber Alert, that a child had been taken? One child, and we were all connected to that, affirming and promoting her inherent worth and dignity. Years ago, when we lived in Chicago, we were driving down one of the expressways, and the whole expressway was a mass of cars, but this was at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we were all stopped and being diverted to get off the expressway. This went on for 10 hours. There was a gentleman that was threatening to jump off of one of the viaducts, and all the traffic was being diverted to protect this man that was in such angst. He lived, people grumbled, and then hopefully they came to the same conclusion that we do. When someone is in need, we stop and pause and divert. You might want to use the 7 UU principles, or I might want to touch that sore topic that you here in Flint are more aware of than many of the other UU churches all around the town where I speak. Some of the other congregations didn't even know about Article 2. And then there were all of you that put it in your kaleidoscope and turned it round and looked at all the perspectives. You might use karma, or you might use story cones, or for some of us, we might take the figurative stories from the Bible and weave those in to Don Miguel Ruiz's 4 agreements. We can imagine those spirits of the basis of these values turning and changing. They're all guides, various contexts that we can use them. We can change the elements of our kaleidoscope. We might include those symbolic stories of the Bible with that personal guide to not take things personally, not make assumptions, always do your best, and be impeccable with our word. And I always add one more: forgiveness, to give it and to accept it. We could add affirmations that are positive so that those words are repeated, reflected, refracted as we go through our day, accentuating the positive in how we speak to ourselves in that internal dialogue, and actually use positive dialogue with others, knowing 60,000 thoughts a day. 60,000 thoughts a day go through our head. 75% of those negative. And so anything positive that we can say to ourselves or to others starts with this brand new grandchild, great-grandchild, hearing the positive and continuing all through their lives of needing that, using more positive words in our repertoire of messages. By being mindful of the words spoken, we can actually retrain our neural pathways that have been created in our brains over the past many decades. I didn't think I was going to pick on Michael, my husband, this morning, but I do want to bring up this neural pathway. This was more about me than him. You know, it's nice when you have a dining room table that's all clear and has a vase of flowers in the middle, and it's so inviting. And then you're a minister and you decide you want to watch TV while you're doing board reports, and so the whole table kind of becomes your portable office. And then sometimes a kind, gentle person that you married decides that they would like to put a plate on the dining room table. And there's no room for the plate. And so he starts to just gently move a couple of things around. And then something clicks. And Reverend Leonetta remembers her mother yelling at her about the dining room table and her mess, and gets very guilty and defensive and starts piling up the paper and getting very angry just over the plate. It had nothing to do with what was going on then. It was the neural pathways from before. How can you keep hearing this person's voice who has been dead for 7 years? Constantly there, that you're doing something wrong and that the dining room table should have been cleared for your husband to be able to eat a nice dinner on. And then you decide to gently move things around and make room for your own plate as well. We can retrain, rewire our neural pathways. But in order to rewire them, they have to fire. And when they fire, that means that you have a new awareness about yourself and how you interact with others and how you even interact with yourself and are more forgiving. We can be kinder and calmer and more positive when we respond in conversations. Sometimes we have to rehearse. Did you ever rehearse on the way to an event and you know you were going to see Joel, and Joel is the one that no matter what, he's going to bring up a topic, usually religion or current politics, and you know that you're going to have to swim backwards to be pleasant, and so you rehearse what you're going to say ahead of time. And that you can even be quieter and listen to Joel, and then all of a sudden need to refill your lemonade and back out. This is the way you can be calmer and kinder, and you don't have to always be right. Additional elements that you're maybe going to want to put in your hybrid kaleidoscope might include a favorite nature scene. For some of you, that's the water's edge. Some of you, it's mountaintops. Some of you, it's just the green in your garden or the beautiful lush green that we see now in July. Please don't complain about an 85-degree day, because in 7 months it's going to change. So we can take those elements, if you close your eyes for just a minute and think of one nature scene, whether it be a flower or a location. One scene that brings you calmness. And freeze frame that scene. And then as you open your eyes, be secure in knowing that you have put that into your kaleidoscope. Any of these images would be great creative, repetitive relaxation for you. Sometimes you use grounding symbols of hearts or chalices or emblems of your school, or flags or rainbows can be included. Grounding phrases sometimes work. I took a training with Deepak Chopra. I think it was in the 90s. I loved it. He gave us words for each chakra, each energy point. A series of 4 words. We were supposed to memorize all of them. I don't know how many that is, but it was too many for me to memorize. But the ones that I did remember were peace, harmony, laughter, love. And so sometimes when a minister or somebody else is giving a guided meditation, or sometimes when I'm having trouble sleeping, I say peace, harmony, laughter, love. Blunk! Into my kaleidoscope right next to the sequins. Peace, harmony, laughter, love. For some of you, you have borrowed the Om Mani Padme Om. The Om Mani Padme Om phrase is the most well-known phrase from the Buddhist tradition, and it means, may the lotus reside within you. The full lotus, the mud and the beauty of the lotus. And the monks, they say it like this: Om Mani Padme Om, Om Mani Padme Om, Om Mani Padme Om, Om Mani Padme. Every time I use Om Mani Padme Om, let's all try it. Om Mani Padme Om again, Om Mani Padme Om again, Om Mani Padme Om. Can't say it any more times because you might go to sleep. So if you're having trouble sleeping or relaxing, it's a beautiful thing. For some of us, we like to look at the fisheye rather than the kaleidoscope. You know, a fisheye, if you look at it and you looked at this little pink thing, that's all you'd see is the pink. You wouldn't see any of the peripheral, the candles, the clock, any of you. The fisheye is more focused. And for some of us, that might be making goals. This is a tough one around our house. We have a new housemate with us. And he's my grandson, and he's 18, and he came to live with us. And it is just amazing how similar we are. Neither one of us likes to make lists or write down goals, because if you write down a goal, right, you're making a commitment. If you don't write it down, you don't have to hold yourself to it, or no one else can hold yourself to it. So now I have been taken to making complicated little calendars, all color-coded, goals for the week, the grocery list. I can't believe at post 70, I have been painted into the corner of making lists. But back to goals. So the goals that you might decide to make, there's a process. You take 10 goals for the next year that you'd like to make. And you circle after that the goal that will have the greatest impact on your life. Only one. Now you take that goal, you write it down, you set a deadline, make a list of what you need to accomplish that goal, organize your life around that list, take action, and do something about it every day. And so that focuses from the kaleidoscope of all this fractured to the fisheye of looking at one thing that's going to have the biggest impact on your life. One of the goals that I've made this past month is to attempt to find balance. You might have this goal between the national news and my personal balance of creativity, productivity, sanity in my life. I don't want to be an ostrich with my head in the sand and avoid all reality that seems beyond my control, but I do want my kaleidoscope to have the images that we have listed of beauty and mindfulness, a quotient for quality living. So I've decided to throw us a curveball today. I don't usually do this. I know that we have some people in the congregation here today that have heard many of my sermons, and they will know that I usually don't take a walk on the wild side and stay on the edge too long. But this kaleidoscope image isn't something just soft and gushy and pretty and beautiful and sparkly and reminiscent of Reverend Leonetta's childhood. This additional idea goes along with that idea that the minister's sermons can both comfort the afflicted and afflict the comforted. Well, now that you've been comforted, now you're going to be re-afflicted. Because this kaleidoscope approach can be applied to some negative examples that we've seen going on in the past 10 days. There was a shooter who rocked all of our worlds as he shot the former president. I am not naming either because I don't want to give notoriety or time or energy to either one. What type of kaleidoscope was it that a 20-year-old man, using a framework of a philosophy for his actions, went round and round? So not giving notoriety is kind of a trend and important. And this is kind of counter to Unitarian Universalists, because we like to be in the know and we like to state our facts and we like to know that the shooter had 3 names and we like to remember all of them. If you want to know afterwards, I'll whisper it to you. But I choose not to give notoriety. Or I choose not to give notoriety to the person for whatever reason. If we would have known it was coming, we would have bought stock and maxi pads for all the people that were trying to emulate this wound that occurred. Luckily, it was only a wound. What I do offer is the process of this 20-year-old having a fish-eyed, intentional lens on his actions. He plotted, he planned, he proceeded. He used drones and ladders, assault rifle borrowed from his father's collection. Easy enough, since there are 28 million assault rifles in circulation in the U.S. He used research of the young man who killed 4 at the Oxford High School last year and had a motive. Everybody's on the news. What was his motive? He wanted attention. He wanted to be remembered. He wanted notoriety. This is a whole class in psychology that is being studied on college campuses now. This isn't a mystery, people. This is not a mystery. When you have someone that isn't included in a larger group and they feel ostracized and not heard, and they are on the verge of some mental instability, either diagnosed or not, this is not when you start passing out assault rifles or loaning them to your children or buying them for gifts at the holidays. Who needs an assault rifle? I know it's anti-NRA. I'm not looking to take any of your guns. You can have all your guns. There's good reason to have guns. Be trained and use them, but not assault rifles. And then the Kaleidoscope proved a fatal creation for not only himself, but for an innocent firefighter, Mr. Comparatori, Corey, 50 years old. My own son died at 50. Left 2 beautiful grandchildren and a whole at least 35 more years ahead of him that could not be lived. So here we are, well-meaning people, attempting to make sense of it all. This is one of the reasons I'm really glad that I retired May 12th again. To go into another season, I had no idea how amplified it was going to be. None of us would. We have been witnessed, and now we are being called to action to create in our kaleidoscopes, to put social justice in that kaleidoscope. What we choose to do will make a difference. We have plenty of personal work to do to hold ourselves in balance. Yes, our personal kaleidoscopes are important, but hopefully we can also choose components of mindfulness for balancing this social justice work that confronts the issues, not the candidates, the issues that need our persistence and boisterous voices for change. Yes, we can be both compassionate to others and confrontational for change when needed. We can add or delete to our arrangement of what needs to be spoken and acted upon over and over until we get it right, because we're not all moving in the right direction. I'm going to use that beautiful great-grandchild again. The beginning. Remember in the beginning, some of you, many of you have helped to raise children. It takes a lot. It really gets difficult when they're about 11 because they're not so cute anymore and they need lots of action, lots of planning, lots of love, lots of Buddhist thought. I told my grandson when he moved in, I said, I am ready for this. I am not the grandma that you knew 6 years ago. I have practiced Buddhism a lot and studied it a lot. And so when you say something, I'm not going to perform or react. I'm going to be thoughtful and pause and either be silent or respond. And he was very surprised. In 7 weeks in, we're doing a great job. But who washed last night's dishes this morning before she came to church? It will give me time to decide how I will respond on this issue. This is what we all need to do. Take pauses, stay alert, listen, witness, and take actions when needed. Unitarian Universalists aren't going to say, this is a done deal, because we're not done yet. So be it.
We're never done, are we? No, we shan't give up, but we may pause. Right now, I'd like to pause and remind you that this building, the lights and the air conditioning doesn't stay on without your generosity to help pay those bills. And we know that our financial contributions to this congregation do come from your sacrifice and your commitment and your really hard work. So we're grateful for this and commit ourselves to ensure that they're gathered and collectively used to do a greater good, to open this place, to welcome people in. And we hope that they will help our world to be better. May there be an offering that will sustain and grow the life and mission of this congregation, and we give in love and hope. Since COVID, we've stopped passing the plate. So if you will, if you wish to donate as you head down to coffee or head off for the rest of your day at the end of the service, please leave your donations, if you will, on the basket at the back of the table.
So Raina told me that there's a tradition here that if we have time, and we have exactly 5 minutes to open it up, not for talkback, for dialogue. Same thing?
Okay, don't confuse me.
I'm not going to confuse you. I'm going to clarify something for the good people in Flint. I personally raised 2 teenagers, and now I get an opportunity to raise another one. The thing that they all had in common is that they talked back. I have spent many hours creating a message for you, and I have pretty much exhausted everything I have to say about kaleidoscopes, social justice, NRA, personal balance. And so now we have a dialogue. So I'm not the enemy or the authority. No one needs to talk back to me. They can voice their opinion. Thank you.
Do you want
Just-
to go from the up there? You want to have your own?
I'm just going to stay here.
Just a quick comment and a question. The piece of information that I think impacted me most was that we average 60,000 thoughts a day, and 70% of them are negative. I think I've got my New Year resolution. And since you've exhausted your information, I'd like to ask Michael, would you mind saying a few sentences about yourself?
Oh, wow. I like putting him on the spot. Who are you and where did you come from?
There we go. I'm born and bred in Detroit and went to public high school in Detroit. got kicked out of choir in grade school and high school, and picked up the guitar at 20, found somebody who could help me tune a guitar, and it was before they had automatic tuners, and just been spending the last 30 years with Leonetta, having just a wonderful life. Thank you.
And his career was financial planning, but he also understands poetry.
So anybody who hasn't been to our discussion before, this is optional. If you want to go down for coffee early, you're welcome. Otherwise, listen to what we have to say.
So I'm very grateful that you came today and shared with us, because I love being ministered to, and you ministered to my soul, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks, Bonnie. And break the leg next
Terry,
week.
of course, Terry.
Again, always thrilled to see you, and bless you taking an 18-year-old and the challenges and the blessings that come with that. And we had my father-in-law moved in with us, and it was funny because, like my husband said, this is not the man who raised me. Yes, it is a second chance to go through these things. And thinking about the kaleidoscope, I think about, there's so many images of Flint that people have. Mm-hmm. And I think about, I have had such a wonderful week in Flint, starting with birthdays and bands on Monday. It's like Monday is a new Friday. Now there's music every day in Flint, and outdoor concerts, and it ended in Carriagetown. And Carriagetown is one of those areas that has struggled, made it through the crack epidemic, up and down, all around. And it has never looked better. And to see a festival and people, such a wide variety of music on porches. I mean, it's just as organic and enjoyable as it gets.
The Flint City Bucks won their first playoff game.
Yeah.
And they'll be playing today at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, the Flint City Bucks will be playing, and I know there's at least one person here wondering if anybody else is going to go. So Harold's going to go. Any other comments or questions? All right. Let's go.
I had one more just little tidbit that I was reminded about with your, is it your father or your father-in-law? Father-in-law moving in. Each of us has come to this Unitarian Universalist community today for one reason or another. I think it's very important. I think the title of today's talk was Practicing a Kaleidoscope of Mindfulness. Practicing. You all are practicing Unitarian Universalist. I don't care if you're a founding member here and you've pledged since 1961. You are still practicing, because you got the UU shirt and it has the 7 principles, and every so often you have to read it to apply it. None of us are perfect yet. Not yet. Not quite. Until the grandson turns 28 and has a full-time job and is living somewhere else. Then we will all be perfect. But we are practicing because we're making the application of what our principles are about. That's the real work during the week. Lauren Marie shares this closing words, kaleidoscope. I only ask of you to aim for balance. Not one, not even yourself, is expecting you to fall into another category of extremes. In life, we have more than black and white. I don't want to just see the gray, but the kaleidoscope of colors this beautiful world has to offer. And as we look at each other's faces and we combine our connections of energy during coffee, may we find a face that we're willing to put in our kaleidoscope to see over and over again. And thank you, Michael, for the surprise postlude.
It is, and I got my inspiration from the back of your sheet here. It's great, all the music that's going on, so I've got a song that Mustard's Retreat likes to do.
Oh, cool.
The more you sing, the better I sound. Here's the chorus. Ours is a simple faith. Life is a short embrace. Heaven is in this place every day. Hope is the ground we till. Make each day what you will. Thankful for dreams fulfilled every day. There is no hell to fear, no judgment day drawing near. Trust that inner voice you hear every day. Life's not a goal or race. It's about heart and faith and living a life of grace every day. Ours is a simple faith. Life is a short embrace. Heaven is in this place every day. Hope is the ground we till. Make each day what you will. Thankful for dreams fulfilled every day. Trust is an open hand, making an honest stand, rooted here in the land every day. Live in the mystery, seeking the harmony here between you and me every day. Ours is a simple faith. Life is a short embrace. Heaven is in this place every day, every day, every day. Hope is the ground we till. Make each day what you will. Thankful for dreams fulfilled every day.
Good luck creating your hybrid kaleidoscopes. The next visit, I hope to hear what you put in them. Have a wonderful week. And go out and tell everybody one more summer services before the reverends come back. So invite